welcome back to my channel. I'm Steph. One of the questions that I think I get asked the most is how do I manage to stay productive and motivated all the time? So in today's video, I'll be showing you my ultimate organizational system to stay productive, be motivated to study, and basically just organize my entire life with Notion. For some context, I first started using Notion in my first year of uni, which was actually 4 years ago now, and I've since graduated from that degree, which is very weird to say. But one of the reasons I was able to be successful in that degree was that I found a method that worked for me to help me organize and just stay on top of everything that I had to do. And I'm very honored to be working with Notion on this video because it's honestly been such an integral part of my university experience, and I really hope that all of the skills that I've learned over the years can help inspire you to create your own organizational method that works perfectly for you and helps you become the best student you can be. So I have my laptop here and my Notion page, and I'm going to show you everything that I do to help me stay motivated and productive and on top of everything. My Notion page has definitely gone through a lot of trial and error because it did take me a while to find out what works for me. This is my Notion. Before we get on with the tour, I wanted to talk very quickly about what my goals and ideas were that I had in mind when it came to designing my Notion page. I'm the type of person that makes plans on top of plans to help me feel like I have everything under control. That often meant that I ended up with planners and spreadsheets and to-do lists and trackers all over the place, to the point where everything felt even more disorganized. So when I was designing my Notion, I really tried to streamline my workflow so that everything that I need to track my assessments, my classes, all of my to-dos are all in one place. Having access to everything all in one workflow really helps me combat the feeling of being disorganized and underprepared, because everything is set up to help me be productive and not work against me. So starting with my Notion, it definitely looks very pink. For me, it was really important to make my homepage look pretty and interesting because when it looked nice, it makes me feel so much more motivated because I actually want to plan things. Starting at the top, I have this little star, and I also have one of my favorite quotes here because I like the reminder whenever I open my Notion. I just have that there as a reminder because I think it's nice. So the first main thing here is my homepage dashboard, and the most important portions of this are my 2025 uni tracker and my video planning segment. I really try my best to stay consistent with posting YouTube videos every week, but that honestly takes a lot of time management, so that way I have enough time to edit as well as doing all my uni work. I'll start with the uni tracker and come back to everything else because honestly the 2025 uni page is probably the one that I use the most out of the whole entire thing. So this is my 2025 uni page. Even though I graduated last year, this year I'm studying a full-time postgraduate degree in public health, which means I have a lot more assignments than I did in biomed, which was mostly a lot of exams. So my approach to this semester has been taking my notes for my modules, tutorials, and working on my assignments in individual class pages. This is an example of one of them. I have the module content here that I'm working through, tutorial content, and I've also been working on one of the assignments in this page too. That way it's just all accessible in one place. But one of the things that I absolutely swear by in having at uni is an assessment tracker. I do write my assessments in my planner, but I find it's hard to look ahead when you're focusing on only 1 week at a time. So this assessment tracker is probably my most used database of my entire Notion page. I have it filtered so that way the dates are ascending rather than organizing it by course, so I can see what is due next and what I have to work on this week. And I also actually have the due dates set up to remind me a day before that the assessment's due. So that way there's no way I'm missing a deadline, which I was honestly kind of worried about when I started this degree because I'm studying online this year. So when it's the day before an assessment's due or when it's overdue, just like this one on the 21st, it goes red. So I'm notified that it's due tomorrow and I have to be working on it, which you can see this one because I have an exam tomorrow. When it goes red, I really feel the time pressure to finish the assignment, which great motivation. I also like to track the status of my completion, so I'll have it if I've started it, if I'm working on it, or if I've completed it, and I also have the percentage of what it's weighted, just to remind me of what I should be focusing on, because if I have two things that are due, one thing's 50%, one thing's 5%, I'm going to place a lot more focus on the 50% because that one has a significantly greater impact on my final grade. So when it comes to taking notes in Notion, which I am doing for my current courses, but I want to show you my Notion for 2023 because I've completed those courses, so I feel like my notes look better because they're complete. My 2023 Notion has a very different vibe. As you can see, it's very green and Ghibli themed, which was my vibe at the time. Every year I design my page differently, so they definitely go through a lot of change every year. But this dashboard is my notes from my anatomy course, which was actually my favorite anatomy course that I ever took in my degree. It was also the first semester that I actually locked in and started taking my notes on Notion. So depending on the course, I'll either take notes by writing notes on the lecture slides in class, or I'll do this method, which is what I do when there's just too much content happening in the lecture because I can type faster than I can write. So this way I get all the notes down. So this is yet another dashboard. This semester I mainly just focused on the lecture title and what week it was done in, and this semester I was also really into Anki, so I tracked if I had completed my Anki cards and also if I watched the lecture. And this tulip, that was very specific. That was me tracking if I had reviewed the content twice for a final exam, which was just, that was just specific that semester, but I still do that sometimes. For the actual notes themselves, I'll use this as an example. This was the lecture. So when I'm taking notes, I divide the page into 2 columns. On one side, I have the actual lecture slides, and on the other side, I take my notes. Because I can type a lot faster than I can write, this was the best way for me to actually pay attention in class and actually take notes and not get left behind by 5 slides, because that always happened. Because as you can probably tell, this course was quite busy. There's actually also an AI feature here that allows you to expand upon your notes, which actually helps me a lot because I often find lecture content very confusing and I need to go over it multiple times for some courses. And so having it explained in a different way can actually help me learn and remember everything. I found that a lot of uni is just finding out how you learn and using the fact that you know that to your advantage and structuring your studying to suit you the best. Let's go back to the homepage now. The next thing I wanted to show you was my video planning schedule, because I also use Notion for lots of other areas of my life too that aren't just studying, because I need to manage everything. So that way I have enough time to do everything that I want to do. This is probably my second most used database after my assessment tracker. So this is my video planning dashboard. I won't go into it too much, but juggling editing with uni is a significant aspect of my life that I really do have to organize and pay attention to. So I wanted to show you just a little snippet. This dashboard is a little more comprehensive because generally when I'm filming a video, I'll have an idea, and based on how busy I am that week, I'll pick the best dates that I can film on, and I basically just track the status of the video and if I've completed it, if it's currently being edited, if I'm currently filming it. This just basically makes sure that I find time for editing so that way I can actually make videos with all of my uni schedule as well. So that is the main part of my first dashboard. The marathon training and ideal daily routine are more just things that I have there as reminders. But another really big aspect of planning out my week and staying productive is planning out my days and planning out my weeks, specifically setting very specific goals. I find that when I don't have a clear plan for the day, it's very difficult for me to focus because it feels like I have the whole day to do things, which causes me to procrastinate and not actually get that much done. So I have a daily planner, a weekly planner, and a weekend plan. Usually at the start of every week, I put everything into my weekly planner so I have a good overview of what I have to do. Like you can see here, that basically just shows me that I can't really get behind and I need to stay on top of things, and also shows me what days I have a bit more of a relaxed routine so that way I can push things into other days. But the real planning comes in the daily planner that I have, because I'll have all my general ideas in my weekly planner, but my daily planner is really where I get into all the specifics of exactly what I have to do. So this is a really big part of making sure that I actually manage my time efficiently and I'm making the most of my day. Unless I have a really big assessment or I'm really on a time crunch, I don't really schedule per hour because I get really stressed if I needed to finish something by 9 and it's 9:15 and the schedule kind of just goes out the window. So I try to avoid doing a really strict schedule unless I'm on a time crunch or I have an exam. And at the moment, I actually do have an exam. And so if I ever have to make a very strict schedule, I actually just get the Notion AI to write me one. So you can basically ask it to get you to write a daily schedule for you, which is just what I do, and it just schedules all the times for me. Because otherwise I will spend too long trying to make my own schedule instead of studying. There has to be a boundary between procrastinating by writing a plan and actually writing a plan that's helpful. By seeing everything here and having a good plan, it really helps me get a good overview of what I have to do and helps me procrastinate less, because it really bothers me when I have an incomplete to-do list. Another thing that I wanted to show you is how you can actually use Notion to collaborate on group assignments and group notes as well, which I have done before. One of my group projects from last year was to create an infographic about the epidemiology of a specific condition that we chose, and so I actually used Notion to create a page for us to work on it. So we put all of our research in here and we actually had, it's done now, clearly. We took all our notes in here and we compiled all of our research and information in here so that way we could create an infographic together. And this isn't based on uni, but last year when my friends and I went skiing, I actually made us a group Notion, and I really like this Notion, so I'm going to show you really quick. This was honestly really great when we started to plan for our trip because everything was all here and we could all access it, particularly allocating each of the things that we had to do to a person and ranking it by priority was honestly so helpful and played a very big part in planning that trip and was one of the reasons it happened. And we're back at my homepage now. There isn't really that much else here that's super important because I try to keep all of the really important stuff up the top. I have this rough weekly planner here that kind of just gives me an idea of what I want to do on every day of every week. But honestly, my weeks vary a lot, so every week this looks different, but I just have it there as an idea of what I want to do every day. And down here is just some more things so I can access them. I have some of my favorite study playlists on Spotify because I've used these to study for many years. I just have them here so I can access them if I want to. I have my class content dashboard here again just so I can access them. Here I have some trackers that just track all the things I have coming up. For example, I have an exam in 1 day and 2 hours from right now, and my semester will be done in 2 months. And I also have my assessment tracker again. That's just so it's there so I'm constantly reminded of it if I'm looking. And everything else is honestly just to make it look nice. I like to use Notion to plan my travels like I showed you with my ski trip. And I also sometimes use Notion to make a mood board as well. So this is a random one that I made for outfit inspiration. And that is about it for my Notion homepage. So I've been using this organizational method and plan to stay on top of things for coming up to 5 years at this point because I'm in my 5th year of uni. But it really has become such an important part of my planning and how I organize things. When I feel organized and everything is all structured and put together, I'm able to get so much more done than when I have no plan and everything's disorganized. My way of organizing things has definitely changed a lot since I first started uni. And also just remember, even though I've spent a lot of time making my page look all pretty and aesthetic and pink, at the end of the day, Notion is supposed to make your life easier, and so by no means do you need to have perfectly curated aesthetic Notion page. It can be perfectly functional and make such a big difference in your life however you decide to organize it. So I really hope this video has helped and gave some insights into how I organize my uni life. And of course, if you'd like to go check out Notion, I really highly recommend that you do. You can use the sign up link in my description. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for my next video.